This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going out to Daytona Beach. Yeah, where the sun's nice, the waves are there, the sand's there, but we're not going to be hanging out by the beach today. Today we're going to be going around the racetrack, around and around and around in the same direction. We're talking about automobiles. This is a sort of a bag builder. You've heard of deck building games. Similar concept, but instead of using cards, you're pulling cubes out of a bag that have special abilities and such. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. This is for 2 to 5 players. Takes about 45 minutes to play. I'll see you on the other side. In automobiles, you're going to be at Daytona Beach, going around in the clockwise motion around the racetrack. Or for an advanced game, you flip the board over and you'll be at Monza with a Formula 1 race. At the beginning of the game, you'll get a nice bag. These are very nice draw bags. And you'll select a color in your car, and they always have other AEG games on there like Smash Up's green, Legend of the Five Rings is red, Doomtown and Love Letters purple, Planes is blue, and Trains is yellow. Of course, if you're going to play the other side of the board, you play that for the Formula 1. And this is essentially a player aid where you'll be putting your cubes as you play. Now you can play as many laps as you want, but it suggests three laps in a normal game. Now everyone starts with the same 12 cubes in their bag to start the game, and then you go randomly assign player order, and these player orders will get a certain amount of money to buy some of their own cubes to start the game. Now on your first turn, you're going to take your bag, you're going to draw up 7 cubes from your bag. You can never look in your bag. You can feel your bag to see how many are left in there, but you can never look in it. And I put my 7 cubes in my active place. And then I'm going to use these cubes. Now there's different types of cubes. Here I have a bunch of yellows, some white, and some grays. Let's talk about what these cubes do. Now, by the way, it does come with these really cool holders to hold all the cubes in. And each race is going to have certain cubes for the gears, which are always the same. And then there's going to be different colors that are always in the game, but each of these cards are sort of different. So for instance, the yellow is always going to be garage, but what it does is going to be different from game to game. There's 4 different cards of each color that you can either randomly mix, that you can use. They also have many different ways to set up different types of games. For example, it tells you which ones to use for your first game, and then there's different ones that you would use depending on the style of game that you want. One of the coolest features of the game. Now you'll notice on the board first there's white, light gray, dark gray, and black spaces, and those are ones that you can move through. And so the white cubes allow you to move through one white space, light gray through a light gray space, dark gray through a dark gray space, and the blacks through a black space. Those are the gear cubes. The cubes do a bunch of different things. I guess we'll go over these as they come up. So if I want, I can take, and now they've drawn all these, I will take these and I will start to move them. You actually put them on the board. Now you use these cubes. Let's say I went light gray, white, and white. Now let's say I didn't use my dark gray, which could have got me in this space. Here you see spaces, and you can move forward or diagonal. So this space is here, so he would move diagonal here, and up there. Some of these have, this is one big space. There's little segments in here that will allow more cars to go there, but this essentially is one big space. This black is one big space all the way. And so I go there. This one I'm not going to use right now. So let's look what I'm going to do for the rest of my cubes there. Now these yellow ones are the manager in this one. It allows me to remove 1 cube from my active pile away out of the game completely. And we'll talk about this later, but sometimes you'll get some wear cubes, which are basically just nothing. And that allows you to get rid of them. You can also, if you want, you can take 1 cube from your active or your discard and put it back in your bag. So maybe you drew a cube that you can't use this turn. Like I didn't use this turn, but I want it later. I could put this back in the bag, and this one is now used. These other 2, I don't really have any use for them right now, but if I don't want to use them for actions, I can use them now to buy. Now each of those yellow cubes are worth $2, so I now have $4 to spend. Now each of these other cards that we saw that were out there of different colored cubes are different prices, and I have $4 to spend. And you'll see some of the other gear cards and gear cubes have costs as well, $2 and $3 and $4 and such. So for my $4, I bought a $3 green cube and a $1 white cube, and those have all been used because I used the money. And then, after we do that, we're essentially going to move our car. So I will move my car up to here, and then I'll take these cubes and put them in the use pile. Now I'll also have to take some where cubes now. The highest that we went, we will take the where cube. So the highest spot I went, or the highest on here I went, was light gray. And so I went light gray, and so I will take 3 where cubes, which essentially will just clog up my bag with stuff that isn't worth anything and doesn't do anything. I would take 3 where cubes. So we have all this, my 3 where cubes go there, and this all goes to the discard pile. And then I will draw 7 new cubes from my bag and place them in the active, and that will be the next player's turn. And you do this at the end of your turn so you can be thinking about what you might want to do on your next turn. If I drew up and I did not have 7, I would draw up as many as I can, and then I would put these back in the bag, shuffle them up, and draw back up to 7. Now, on a subsequent turn, if somebody moved up here, moved through light gray, and then moved here, if you end up right behind somebody in a space behind them, or in the same space but in a different segment, you don't take any wear cubes because you're drafting and the card doesn't take a lot of wear. If I ended up here and he ended here, essentially this is one big space and you'll still be drafting there. Now you can't move through or on top of any cards. You basically have to go around them when you're moving. Let me talk about what some of these other cubes do. Now, if you have a green one in this game, the gearbox, you gain 1 wear. This would go in your used pile for now. And then you move up to as many light gray spaces as your position. If you're last, you move 1 additional spot. So let's say I was the purple player and I played that purple cube. I'm in last place, 3rd place, and I'm in last, so I get +1. So I get 4 light gray movements. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just with the green cube. Essentially, what we would do is we would have the guy here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. We put the green cube, and then we'd start putting any other movement cubes there. Green's really good for last place if it's the gearbox in the game. Now the purple cube, when it's the crew chief, which is what is in this one, allows me to use this and throw away and remove all of the wear from my discard pile completely out of the game. It allows me to get rid of my wear, which is really good. If I had a red cube here and I activated it, I would gain a wear. And then I can move 1 space matching 1 gear on my discard pile. So I go, oh, I got a light gray there. I can use this red and basically activate that gray. And if I was using this blue cube and it's the hybrid engine, we would gain a wear in our use pile. And then if you have more blue cubes on your player board than any other player's discard pile, move up to 2 spaces on any 1 color. So it's sort of like you kind of want to specialize in that. You don't want to be fighting others with it. Now, instead of doing your normal turn when you draw a bunch of wear, you can do an alternative turn, which is a pit stop. Essentially, you move all this wear from the game, it goes back into the stock, and then essentially you basically just get to remove all that, and then you just end. Pretty much as your whole turn is just getting rid of wear in your active pile. That's pretty much it. You're going turn for turn, and you're going around, in this case, 3 times. Whoever ends up past here wins. Everyone is going to have an equal amount of turns from the start player, and if it's a tie, whoever's further, and whoever's on the inside lane, if it's still a tie, is the winner. Now, I don't typically like deck builders. In fact, I only have one that I own that I really love, and that's Baseball Highlights 2045, because it's very different from most deck builders. And this has that similar mechanism, so I wasn't sure how I was going to like it, but I do like the theme, and so I wanted to give it a shot. I must say I was pretty impressed with this game. I did like it a lot, actually. It was very enjoyable. There's a lot to like about this game. First of all, either side of the board. So you've got the round side of the board, you've got the Formula 1 side of the board. Lots of replayability. Every game can be completely different with this, where you've got that starter game where you use the specific cards, and then you can either read that in that book, in the rule book, about which style game you want. You want a game that's going to get you a lot of money and buy you a bunch of stuff. You want a game that's going to make you go wear cube like crazy and have to use a lot of pit stops. You can customize the game for the feel that you want. And then if you want a completely Frankenstein random game, you just random it up. I love the replayability in this game. It's awesome. Even with that being said, even just the starter game was fun. It's like, wow, there's so many good decisions to make. It's like, do I want to use this cube? Well, I could go forward here, but maybe I should just sell it for this turn and get something else, because I'm getting a lot of wear. I'm gonna probably need to buy one of those pit cubes and do that now. There's good decisions every turn on what to do. I like how when you draw your bag at the end of your turn, so you can think about what you might want to be doing your next turn. Of course, that's probably going to change a little bit depending on how people go, because you might want to wait till they pass you, and then you can alter to kind of draft. I like how you can draft behind people, and thematically you don't pull any wear cubes. It's very balanced. There's a lot of different things to think about, and I like that. I like the way that the game works. I like that the turns are pretty quick because you pull at the end of your turn. Most people's turns are pretty quick in this game. Going around 3 times definitely probably takes about 45 minutes. It's about right on the box. And I like just the variability of the different things you can do. And now you can get stuck sometimes. It's like, like this last game I played, I had tons of wear in my discard pile. And I bought with the yellow management cube, I put one of my purple pit cubes in my bag. I only had 9 cubes in my bag. You draw 7. One of them was purple. Do you think I drew a purple? No. I drew 7 cubes. One of the 2 left in the back was the pit. I didn't get all my wear out, and so all that went back in the bag because I had to draw up. I got my bag was empty, and I didn't get to use that pit cube. And I was like, ugh. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But then I'm like, well, I should have done something better. I should have planned for that earlier. I should have bought the pit cube earlier, knowing that I was getting a lot of wear that round. So you are still at the luck of the draw a lot in this game, and that might rub you the wrong way. But at the same time, it's your fault. You could mitigate that luck by doing something else. So overall, very good effort. I like this, solid game. If you like deck builders, check this one out. If you're like me and you don't typically like deck builders, but the theme speaks to you, or the pulling out of the bag seems good to you, check this one out because it's definitely a quality game, and that's automobiles.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.